Susanna, good morning.
Good morning.
What a wonderful garden you've had. You've showed me around. Now, one thing I've particularly noticed is your passion for roses. Now, where does that come from?
Well, I just love them. I've always loved roses. I think probably from my grandfather, who was a great gardener.
Of course, you've got one advantage in that you've got David Austin just down the road.
We have, absolutely, yes. So it's just perfect, really, because you can hop over and visit in the car in half an hour and come back with something extraordinary.
Yes. Now, you've been very good at remembering all the names of the roses. Dare I ask if there's one, maybe not a favourite, but one you could recommend that really performs well?
Gertrude Jekyll, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a little spiky.
Yes.
If you're picking it. But no, definitely, it's the most magnificent rose. It's great, long-lived, easy.
Yes. Now, I think there's a climbing form as well, isn't there?
There is. I think there is, yes.
Yes.
I think it would definitely.
Now, there was an interesting story you told me about the one over there.
James Galway.
James Galway. Turns out it
has been reclassified as a climber.
Yes.
So I have 9 of them that are about 7 foot high.
But it's behaving, isn't it? It's not flopping.
No, it's very withstands all the weather. It's a fantastic rose. It's got great perfume, beautiful colour.
Yeah, it does look
it's
stunning.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. So, is there any sort of regime you follow looking after your roses? I mean, we're surrounded by farmland here. Do you have piles of manure that you can apply to them?
Yes, we do have some horse manure because we do have horses, so
right.
that's great. And
Yeah.
I do put that on perhaps late spring, late winter, late early spring. That sort of depending on the weather.
Yes.
So I do feed them with manure, and I usually put a dressing on halfway through, perhaps after they've flowered the first time. But I don't ever spray.
Never spray.
No.
I find with these sort of modern roses, they often don't need it, do they?
No, they don't. No,
saying that, I've had a little bit of aphid on some of mine. I don't know whether you've experienced it here.
Yeah,
but
there has been quite a bit of aphid around.
Yeah.
It does tend to go. You get the ladybirds and
it all suddenly goes, doesn't it?
and plenty of hoverflies. And if you sort of allow everything into your garden, I think it all sorts itself out, really.
Yes. Now, obviously, you have so many roses. I mean, in terms of your pruning, do you just sort of start and then just... When do you start?
I do start quite early. If the weather allows, around January.
Yes.
I don't prune back too hard. I think maybe the James Galway need a slightly different regime next year, but it does depend entirely on the weather.
Yes.
So, but yes, I just take them down by probably a third.
Oh right, yes, that's interesting because I have found, particularly with the David Austin roses, that where we prune them hard, a bit like we were talking about Annabelle hydrangeas earlier, they send up long whippy shoots and they just can't support the heads. I think that's a very good reason for leaving them that little bit longer.
About 2/3 really, I think.
The hybrid teas you would have taken down to their ankles,
I think
wouldn't
you can slaughter those, So they are quite different really, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, roses aren't the only thing you've got here. You've got a wonderful farmhouse built in 1720, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, around that time, yes.
And you inherited a lot of... Well, no, let me put that straight. You inherited some planting, but you've added quite a lot to it, haven't you, over the years?
Yes, we've got rid of a lot and made it simpler. So we put a lot more of one thing in and used, sort of one shrub rose, as opposed to lots of different colours.
So there's more like drifts rather than...
Yes, I think in a garden of this size you need the impact, and you perhaps can't have 150 borders because you can't manage them. So you've got to really just have the impact of one colour and try and have a drift in one place.
I saw some magnificent teasels down the drive.
I grew those from seed last year, and they're amazing. They're about 5 foot high.
They are,
yes. And those were really for the birds, but I think they might have to have some attention if they start seeding everywhere.
I think you'll have a field of them by next year.
They can go in the fields.
Yes, and peonies as well, I've noticed.
Yes, I love peonies.
Those
were the old-fashioned one that I can't name, but that's been here all the time. That was here probably.
Yes.
I don't know whether my mother-in-law put it in or not, but and then we've added quite a few. Sarah Bernhardt, and I think we've got a bowl of beauty possibly, and and a coral charm.
What was the intersectional peony?
Oh, and the intersectional peony. Yes.
What was that?
That is Julia Rose.
Julia Rose.
Yes. And I had that from Claros.
They're gaining popularity now, aren't they?
Yes, gorgeous. Yes. I think they're lovely, and I think they would be great if you had a border of those behind, supported really by a box hedge.
Yes.
A small box hedge, I think that would really set them off.
That would be lovely. Now, talking of box hedges, you have got quite a decent box hedge here, but you haven't suffered from blight or moth yet, have you?
No, touch wood, no.
Do you know if it's in the area? Or?
I have seen some that look pretty sick, so whether it's that or whether they're just stressed plants, I don't know. But certainly the ones we haven't got the very small leafed box.
The fruticosa,
yes, that's it. So certainly those and the little balls that we've got and the sort of conical shaped ones have survived and been fine so far.
Now we've been talking about your pots. You plant them up with tulips over the winter, don't you? 500 I think you planted last year.
Yes, I did.
And then you take those out, and what do you replace them with?
I've got overwintered fuchsias that I've had probably for 40 years.
Have you? Yes.
They're all a bit woody, but I love them, and people have given me them, and they remind me of those folks who are not here anymore.
Yes.
So I have those, and then I always have sort of little fibrous begonias and a few geraniums, pelargoniums.
Yes.
And just have a mix of those, and they're quite a lot of work, but they look lovely. I think, as they mature, they look great.
Yes. Yeah.
They do the season. So.
Well, I'm enjoying sitting on your lovely little terrace here. With your greenhouse behind us, but thank you so much for showing us around today.
Thank you for coming.
It's been an absolute joy, it really has. It's so lovely to see these gardens that we wouldn't normally get the chance to see. So thank you. And I'll leave you to get on with gardening, because I should think it never stops.
Never stops, no, quite right.
Thank you, Susanna. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.